Hey, what is up? Today I'm going to be going over my GP Luffy deck. So it's going to be a deck profile video and then give like a bit of a locals report um, and my thoughts on the deck so far after testing it for a bit. After that, I'm going to go over some of the topping lists that recently came out. Originally, I was going to like test them all, but then I realized there's like a second wave of regionals happening, as I'm recording this video. So there's probably going to be a couple more lists coming out, and maybe I'll do like a follow-up video to see how people are adapting or if the deck just kind of falls off. But here's the list that I've been using personally. I would be doing this with physical cards, but my setup's a bit janky right now, so I apologize about that. Maybe once I have things figured out a bit more, I'll switch over to that. But yeah, starting off, and also sorry, I'm gonna assume that like most people looking specifically for GP Luffy videos are sort of familiar with like most of the cards. But if people or like if anyone is watching the video and they request I go more in depth, I guess, then I can start doing that. But yeah, let's go card by card. 4 searchers, I think that's pretty standard. I stayed on the 2 choppers for a easy chump blocker as well as like a way to re-ramp. I think initially I was really valuing the re-ramp value so I can use some of the more expensive spells without going down and dawn too much. So I opted to keep them in, but I think going forward I'm probably going to be cutting these. Initially, I was testing with 4 Frankie, but decided to try out the 1 of Nico Robin just to see like when I would draw it, see if like I would prefer a Frankie in this situation or if this Nico Robin actually helps. And I think it's been doing all right. Even keeping it as a 1 of, like I didn't hate it that much. And then the 3 Frankie, this is essentially just a substitute Sanji pudding when yours gets blown up or you can't find it. So it's been pretty nice. I think it's a little optional, but it's not a bad card, I think. Standard 4 Vusohachi, probably the second best 2K in our deck. 4 Zorojuro, standard searcher, 4 Sanji pudding. Makes our, this is like the entire point of our deck, so can't go any lower than 4. 2 for Nosuke, this is just like another, you could probably substitute this out with another 2K, but I think this is, you want to go purple because it's the most searchable, because you can't search green off of Zorojuro, and then some people say this can come up against like Blackbeard or something, but I've never used it for anything other than a 2K, to be honest. I'm on 3 of the Rush Luffy. I was on 2 last format, but I think 3 is sort of needed. I've played a bunch of games where like I didn't have a relevant body and I couldn't find like a Zorojuro or a Sanji pudding, and I think that's when like having the Rush Luffy come up and just role playing it on 6 sometimes can be pretty good. For Sanji, this is our best 2K in the deck. I'm on 1 Luffy Taro. I cut it down from I think 2 or 3 last format since UP is quote unquote dead, but it seems like they're making a comeback. So, and I don't think this card is like too bad into the rest of the field, so I might bump that back up. I was on 1 Dead Man's Game. Initially, I thought this card was like a little overhyped because it's really expensive for what it is. But from more and more testing, I'm finding out like this card is like actually pretty cracked. So I'll probably up this going forward. I was on 2 Rashomon for the Rayleigh matchup and the removal matchup specifically, because you can kill like a rested Kuzan and a Uta or something against the black matchups, and then for Rayleigh, you can like kill 2 things on their board without having to sacrifice swings into leader. But in like I think like 60 or so games I've played so far, I've only played against 1 Rayleigh, and so I'm just like dodging them, and I haven't really been able to test this card out, so most of the time it's just 3K counter. 1 Gatling to get rid of bricks. 4 Event Searcher, I think that's pretty standard. 4 Gum Gum Giant, best card in the game. 2 Hell's Judgment. This card like came up a lot during like Zoro games, and even like, I don't know, this is just a good card in general. But I think it's staying as a tech option. Like you could cut this and it wouldn't be like too out of the realm of possibility of like reducing this down to 0. So I think it's just preference at this point. And then 4 stage, which I think is still pretty standard. You need this for a lot of matchups where they can remove your board at their cost. So, and I think there's like a decent amount running around. And it's also helpful in like niche scenarios, like boosting Rush Luffy or Luffy Taro against like Carrot, or avoiding gravity blades and stuff like that. So, yep, that's it for the deck. As far as my like personal record on the deck in terms of locals, I've only been to 3, and my first one I went X and 1, beat a Green Zoro. My round 1, round 2 was a Reiju, won that one. Round 3 was a Kuzan, won that one as well. And then I lost to a Bonnie for my round 4, and I think it wasn't like anything crazy per se, like they didn't high roll me or anything, but it's just a reminder to myself to play a bit slower, because what happened was on my 7, I played Luffy Taro, thinking I had a Sanji Pudding in hand, and then I flicked through my cards and I realized like I didn't have anything playable off the Luffy Taro, and the guy was nice enough to let me take it back, but I decided to turn down his gracious offer, because you just gotta learn from your mistakes, I feel like, and you know, that's the sort of stuff is not gonna fly during regionals or whatever. So next, I had another quote unquote like invite only locals, where it was like a couple of really strong players from the local area like got together and played like a they called it a double box tourney, but essentially you would the contents of like 2 boxes were split out throughout as like prizing, and then so like most of the people I played there were like pretty good, and then my matchup spread was and I lost in the finals, so I won against Shanks round 1. Round 2, a Bonnie. This was crazy because I triggered 2 Hell's Judgment out of life like back to back, which sent him back really behind on his curve. The only issue with that I found was like, and I just did it because I thought it was kind of funny at the time, but thinking back on it, I don't know if the second one was worth it, because after that I was just like not able to draw off of the Sanji Puddings, and then my hand size got really, really low. So yeah, I actually barely ended up squeaking out a win on that one, but I got there. Round 3 was against UP Luffy. We both like giga bricked, but I was able to stabilize earlier than he did. Round 4 was another Shanks, and then my round 5 was against the Bonnie, which I lost. And I honestly I just like threw. Essentially, like what happened was he had a 9 Shanks on board and 2 Tendofis. And I had a line where I would hit him 10-10 with Rush Luffy, and then he didn't have the counter, so I would have won there. But instead, I opted to play a blocker and try to live one more turn. But there was like no way I was surviving in that situation, so I don't know why I did that. I just like brain farted, I think, and then yeah, so I lost that one. And then my third locals is the one I actually did the worst on, where my round 1 was a buggy, which I won, and it was like a new player with like he was using a unmodified starter deck, so I don't know if I can really count that one. Lost to a koala round 2, which one of my friends. It's just unfortunate there. Round 3 I played another koala, which I won. And then round 4 I lost to a buggy, and I just played awful. I didn't respect the gravity blade, and he also just like drew the nuts that game. So but I think there was things that I probably could have done to clean up the gameplay, but he also high rolled. But yeah, I mean, I guess it is what it is. The deck still feels good. Like what I like about it is like the mirror is like pretty skill based, and it's like non-linear enough for the deck to like stay interesting to me. Realistically, I feel like if I want to win a major tournament, I'd be on Rayleigh, but I don't think I have like the time right now to dedicate that much time into learning like a new and complicated deck like Rayleigh, so I'll probably just stay on GP, but maybe I'll try it out for a bit. The only issues I have with the deck are like a lot of the top decks, you have like a slightly unfavored to unfavored matchup spread into, so I think you're slightly losing into Zoro and Bonnie, and then the Rayleigh matchup just seems like that's the one that I just like haven't been able to figure out, but maybe we'll get there eventually. But regardless, that matchup just looks kind of fucked, and so I mean we might just have to like pray to dodge, I think. But yeah, other than that, the deck feels good. So moving on, there was like a handful of regionals that happened, I think, recently, and I just wanted to go over those decks as well. I've been testing a few of them, and I was originally planning on releasing like a video with the testing results, but there's another round of regionals happening, and I just think it's going to take too long. So I do have on Sim so far, I just cracked like top 1000, which isn't like, so I'm like around 900 on the ladder right now, which isn't anything crazy, but I think we're slowly moving up there and slowly getting better, so that's always good to see. So first off, this is Braden's list, who made top 8 in Australia. The list looks, let me just make sure this is appearing okay on the screen. The list looks pretty standard. He's on 2 Robin, no Frankie, and then 3 of the Fat Zoro, which I wasn't sure how I felt about this card. Like whenever I ran it, it just came up in very, very niche scenarios where I feel like it's not too helpful, but maybe, you know, I do see a lot of people running it, so maybe there's something a little bit more there. So I'll have to do some more testing on it. Pretty standard ratios here. 1 of Frenosuke, so he's running 5. 9 2Ks instead of 10. 3 Rush Luffy, pretty standard. 2 Luffy Toro, 2 Gatling, 3 of the Dead Man's Game, and then everything else is standard, and then a 1 of Hell's Judgment and 1 of Luna. And I think Luna's still pretty good in this format, so yeah, looks pretty good to me. And then this was his matchup spread. So it looks like interesting, played a green Utap, beat the NL, and was able to dodge the Rayleighs. But otherwise, like, he saw a good amount of Zoros, which is to be expected, and even beat a Lucci, so yeah, like pretty decent bracket run, I would say. Was able to dodge most bad matchups, I think, just the Zoro. But yeah, and then on to the next one. This is Chris Pack's list, who I believe came in came in 15th at the online Treasure Cup that happened. So in his list, he's running 4 Robins and 4 Frankies, so valuing like the Dawn ramp off of the Frankie, as well as like having chump blockers that are searchable. This may be maybe for the Rayleigh matchup. I would imagine like 4 and 4 of these are like pretty good into it. Pretty standard here, only on 2 Rush Luffy, which I don't know, a bit surprising to me, and then 3 Luffy Taro, which is pretty high, but he does have like a lot of targets to play off of it. 3 Dead Man's Game, pretty standard in terms of giant event and the merry-go, and then 2 Judgment of Hell, another like Rayleigh and Green Zoro tech, and then his matchups had a black purple Luffy, so people, I've seen like 2 or 3 on ladder as well, so people are still playing this deck. 1 mirror, 2 Rayleighs, which he won both. So I guess like his build does pretty well into the Rayleighs, I would assume. 1 Bonnie, 1 Shanks, 1 Green Zoro. So he did play like a lot of bad matchups per se, quote unquote, and beat them all, and then lost to his favorable matchups and 2 teaches, which I think maybe cutting the Rush Luffy's down to 2 maybe had something to do with that. But yep. Going on. This is Federico's top 32 list. I think he was playing in Europe. So standard 4 of the searchers here, 3 of the Fat Zoros, 4 Sanji Pudding, 2 Luffy Taro, 3 Rush Luffy, the standard 8 of the best 2Ks, and 1 Fernosuke, 1 Gatling, and he's on 2 Judgment of Hell, and then reduced Dead Man's Game down to 2, 4 Stage, and Triple Luna. This seems a little bricky to me, but understandable. I mean, it's still a really good card and it's unsearchable, so maybe that's why he opted to run multiple copies. And then 1 of the Brochette Blow, which I've seen this card getting, is essentially slightly, I don't want to say shittier, because it does have its good trade-offs where it replaces itself and you don't have to go Dawn minus. But the power reduction and the cost, in a way, is a bit more expensive than Gamma Knife. But this is probably to deal with like a cost kit if I were to imagine. And I have seen a lot of people say like this card out of 1 of is like pretty good. And his matchups, yep, looks like he played a Bonnie round 1, Enel, the Mirror, UP, Kuzan, another Bonnie, Calgara, Zoro, Teach. So again, was able to dodge the Rayleighs, and then beat 2 Bonnies and lost to 1 at the end of Swiss, and then lost to RG Smoker in Top Cut. But I don't think this deck is as relevant in this format now. Yep, moving on. This was Haru's list from played in one of the events in Chile, I think. But I couldn't find any matchup spread information about this particular player, but they got top 4, so they're on 4 of the chopper. I know I mentioned like the re-ramp on this is pretty good, but I think there's just so many things in this current format that can like rest it and punish this, so I'm not sure how I feel about it currently. But I don't think it's an option, but playing 4 is definitely like an interesting choice. Only on 3 Uso Hachi, which surprising. 2 of the Fat Zoro, 1 Fernosuke, standard Zorojiro and Sanji Pudding at 4, 4 of the Sanji, 3 Rush Luffy, on 3 Luffy Taro, it's quite high, I think. 2 Gatlings, 3 Dead Man's Game, only on 3 Giant, 4 Event, 2 Judgment, 1 Brush-Up Blow again, this card is coming up, and 3 Stage, so definitely very interesting ratios, I would say. I'm not sure how I quite feel about like 3 and 3 here, but I guess they made it work somehow. Moving on, this one wasn't posted anywhere, but I just found it on Twitter. This guy Iona10, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, got 41st in a online treasure cup, I believe. I don't think there was anything too notable to say about this list. They were on like a 3-4 split on the 3 drops, but other than that, pretty standard across the board. This person also on 3 Luffy Taro, so I guess people still value this card a lot. And their matchup spread is here. And they just like ran like the Bonnie Shanks gauntlet, it seems. Or just 2 Shanks, I guess. But just mostly all Bonnies, and then a mirror at the end. So I guess their list was doing pretty well into Bonnie. And I don't think that matchup is like as cursed as a lot of people are making it out to seem. But and that's been my experience as well, even though I lost to like 2 recently. Yep. Moving on, this is Manny's list, who got top 3 in the Carta Magica Online. I believe this is the same one that Chris Pack played in, the one that got 15th. So this person is on 4 of the Frankie. Other than that, it's like pretty standard across the board. 2 Luffy Taro, which I think this is a more comfortable number for me. I think 4 Dead Man's Game, so really valuing the Hody event. And then 1 of the Rashomon, probably for the Rayleigh matchup. And then again, 1 Brush Up Blow appears here again. Other than that, pretty standard. I also could not find this person's matchup spread, so unknown there. This is next is Newbie's list, who placed top 8 in the same tournament that Braden earlier placed in, and have the deck list as well as the matchup spread in 1 post, but pretty standard here. 3 Luffy Taro, 3 Rush. So I guess he also favors the Luffy Taro still. 3 of the Fat Zoro, 4 Searcher. He's on 3 Bagua, 3 Dead Man's Game, 4 Gum Gum Giant, 4 Stage, 4 Events. 8 are the best 2Ks, and then the 2 for Nosuke's, pretty standard for a 10 2K list, and then 1 Gatling. And then I do know later he followed up with saying that they're up to 4 Bagua now, and then they cut 1 of the Zoros here, and that's been working out better for them, I think. And then the matchups were pretty, pretty varied. Played some Green Zoros, played some Bonnies, which looks like he lost to 1 in Swiss and then 1 in Top Cut. So was able to dodge the Rayleighs again, but he did make a mention that he believes his list is favored into Bonnie, so and just got unlucky. But yeah, and this is the this is his teammate, which Stefan, another top player in Australia, I know. Yeah, and this is with like the same list with Bagua up to 1, and then the Zoro dropped down to 2, and then looks like he also ended up beating 3 Bonnies, played 2 Rayleighs, which he lost against, so was not fortunate enough to dodge that matchup, but otherwise, just a lot of Shanks and Bonnies, I suppose. I feel like I've seen in these matchup spreads, but yeah. And then lastly, this is just like I think week 2's top performing sim list. So I was just curious to see what I guess was performing on sim, and it looks pretty standard. They're on like the 10 2Ks and then 3 of the Fat Zoros, no 3 drops, 3 Dead Man's Game, 3 Luffy Taro. So it sounds like, or it looks like most people are on like the 3 Luffy Taro for some reason. Maybe I'll have to test that a bit more, but I found this to be a little bricky, but maybe I'm just playing the deck a bit wrong. And then triple Bagua, which, yeah, I've been liking this card more and more since testing. Yeah, so all very interesting and pretty varied lists. I just want to go through some of them. I'll probably be testing like almost all of these and seeing which one I like the most, and then probably building off of there, because I'm personally not like the best deck builder. So yep, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. See ya.